you're getting raiders coming down across the Black Sea onto this northern coast here. And at some point, we don't know when, raiders from here who belong to the nation of the Goths raid Pontus up here and take numbers of Christian captives to their territory. This Christian community maintains its faith, and so you're getting a church growing up among the Goths. We don't know much about its origins, but we do, in the 4th century, meet a man whose Gothic name was Wulfila, and that gets turned into Greek as Ulfilas. Wulfila was probably of mixed race. He's clearly descended from these Christian captives, but he's a native Gothic speaker. And we find him at the centre of a Christian movement among the Goths, which produces, in effect, a Christian Gothic nation. He translates the whole of the Bible into Gothic, with the exception of the books of Samuel, it is said, because he thought the Goths knew enough about fighting without having any more instructions on it. In the end, this Gothic Christian community moves into the Roman Empire, not as attackers, but becomes a sort of Christian state within the Roman Empire. Interestingly, it's Arian, and this I don't think has any special doctrinal significance. It's just that the form of Christianity that these people had was Arian in that century when the century following the Council of Nicaea, when things are moving between Nicene and non-Nicene formulations. Anyway, I mentioned that as an example of the sort of community. Do you notice one sign? You've got a literature. This pre-literate people, as they become Christian, produces a Bible. And no other writing is known in Gothic apart from the Bible. The outlook of these people, they're used for the most part to a pretty harsh environment. They live uncertain and often brief lives. They live in a setting where there's no boundary between the natural and the supernatural. They live in a situation where spiritual interventions are occurring all the time. So your main religious needs are going to be power and protection. You're surrounded by danger from the cradle to the grave. And your enemies are both human and spiritual. You need protection. And you need to be able to survive in this world. If you're ambitious, you need to do more than survive. You need to triumph in it. You need power. So it's going to be a religion of power and protection. What's going to happen as the gospel crosses this cultural frontier, where the big literary culture of Hellenistic civilization isn't going to count for very much, but where you've got to be able to survive in a hostile environment. I'd like to illustrate that by looking, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at those documents I gave you yesterday. Have you got them with you? Yes. If you haven't, and I'm conscious that we'll have to stop in a minute, and we'll come back after the break to look more particularly at somebody, I think, who illustrates the new environment in which the Christian faith is going to live. That is Patrick. And if you look at one of your sheets, which begins, I think, it's the one that begins Barbarian Christianity. I'd like you to meet Patrick. And he's a person who's very easy to meet because he's left us a sort of autobiography. A confession. And he's left us one letter. And we get the beginning of the biography in the passage I've given you. Notice, I am Patrick. You can't do better than that as the beginning of your book. Give your name. I am Patrick, a sinner, most unlearned, least of all the faithful, utterly despised by many. Utterly despised by many, I think he's referring to his Christian brothers across the water, where they write much better Latin than he does. He doesn't write very good Latin. He isn't very learned. But he's Christian, and therefore he's got some learning. And as we shall see, he knows his Bible. Now he tells us a little bit about his family. My father was Calpurnius, a deacon, a lower order of church ministry, son of Potitus, a priest of a higher order of church ministry, of the village Banavan Tabernii, and the trouble is we've no idea where that was. But almost certainly pretty certainly in Britain, and probably up here in the northwest of what's now the northwest of Britain had been on the very fringes of the Roman Empire. And in Roman times, Christianity had taken a little bit of root there. Not a mass movement or anything like that, but islands of Christianity. The Romans had withdrawn reduction of military expenditure and commitments. It's all too far away then. And of course that means that you've left your Christian community behind. It's no longer a part of the greater Roman civilization. But it's going to keep some aspects of it. And here is this struggling Christian community left on the very edge of the Christian world, in which this young boy grows up. Christian background, but he's going to tell us in a minute, not very deep. But I see it's 5 to 10, so I think we should probably break now and come back and meet Patrick and meet some other barbarians.
It's amazing that Europe was once a barbarian country. Well, what's new in this world?
Exactly. People like myself are descended from the people that the Romans called barbarians.
So they shouldn't come to Africa and tell us we are barbarian and
Well, you see,
backward.
you see, we took over the Roman route. Yes, we are now the civilized people. The same division of humanity. And you get this in the 19th century. Thomas Hall Roxton is saying he's the person who's talking about the great anti-slavery campaign. Africa is now how the Romans found us, is what he's saying in the 1840s.
Thank you.